Hey everyone, it's a slight change to the video I planned to do tonight because I've recently watched the Dillahunty versus Daniel Haqiqatjou debate on Modern Day Debates, and there was some hilarious stuff that came out of there. So it's only going to be a short one, but there's three really funny things that came out of this. The first one we're going to focus on is Daniel Haqiqatjou and his redefinition of what liberalism is. So I'm going to play you a few little clips just to show you how ridiculous this has got.
So secular humanism is a variant of liberalism. All of the values...
Right, just stopping it there. Secular humanism, which is what Matt came to debate in this particular part of their 3-hour-long debate. He equates secular humanism, and he values surrounding secularism, or humanism as well, to liberalism. So anytime he's talking about those things, he's talking about liberalism. So let's see what he puts in that camp.
Values that you claim as a secular humanist that you cited in your opening statement were also the values that were cited as the justification for the invasion of Iraq, sanctions of many Muslim...
I mean, that's not actually true. I don't want to get too much into this, but it was actually, weapons of mass destruction. And I'm not saying that I support the Iraq war. I was dead against it, but he's not actually telling the truth of what he's saying there.
Countries around the world, the invasion of Afghanistan, those secular values were cited as the justification.
No, they weren't.
That's why they call it Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Oh, yeah, so you put the word freedom into a military operation, and that means that they are fighting for secular human values. I mean, give me a break.
That's not a coincidence. Now, you want to wash...
No, it's not a coincidence. It also has no meaning.
Your hands of that very conveniently, that's fine. I'm not saying you personally supported those wars. My argument is that your ideology was the basis as a justification for those wars and that invasion. I'll ask you a very simple question. Do you believe in international law based on secular humanism? Not the manifesto that no one knows about and no one has read, but the secular humanism, the idea of separation of church and state, individual happiness, equality, etc. Those values that I focused on in my opening, do you think that should be the basis of international law?
Well, it's kind of irrelevant anyway, because, I mean, if you look at international law, let's take the bedrock of it in terms of the UN Human Rights Declaration. Nowhere does it say anything about separation of church and state. Nowhere does it say anything about the pursuit of happiness. Now, there is some stuff about equality, but that's in terms of you shouldn't be discriminated against. You should have the same rights as a citizen, regardless of your religious affiliation or your gender or your race. The kind of things that Daniel Haqiqatjou, at least on the first two, does not believe in. But secular humanism isn't actually the basis of international law, certainly not the way he's defining it. So it's just a straw man, stupid question.
Values of secular humanism, like the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of individual happiness, that was the basis of the French Revolution. That was the basis of the American Revolution. That was the basis of the Communist Revolution, the Decembrist Revolution.
Right. So according to him, which falls under secularism and humanism and therefore liberalism, he's put the French Revolution, the American Revolution, and communist Russia as well. These are all now examples of liberalism by being a variant known as secular humanism in his mind.
Dictators kill plenty of people for their beliefs. In the Muslim world is not run by theocracies. Right now, the Muslim world has many individuals who are dictators on the basis of secularism.
So Middle Eastern dictators now count as this variant of liberalism as secular humanism. He's including Middle Eastern dictators in this.
Established secularism, and they're trying to wipe out Islamism or the idea of Islam as governing their societies.
George W. Bush was famously a right-wing conservative, not a liberal. He was a Christian who advocated teaching creationist pseudoscience in public schools. So what did Bush ever do or say that gives you the idea that he ever expressed support for either secularism, humanism, or liberalism?
Yeah, so this is the issue that we had in our debate actually last year. I'm defining liberalism as the maximization of freedom and equality, the pursuit of individual happiness. That's what I'm defining as liberalism.
Right. So therefore, we're talking about George W. Bush here. So neoconservatism is now also liberalism, according to him.
Moving on to Herbert Walker Bush.
Sorry about this. This is not my video. This is the Modern Day Debates, their camera cut out. But it's another question from Aaron Ra in the audience. And he's talking about George Bush Sr. now.
Bush, who said that atheists could not be citizens because this is one country under God. Where did he ever advocate anything
Did he
secular
implement
or
any
humanist?
policies? Did he implement any policies or legislation that
So he was a
put
stealth
teeth to
secular
that?
humanist?
Like he just
Okay, so
he just
they're
expresses that.
anti-secular and they're anti-humanist, but according to you, because you get to redefine things however the fuck you
No.
want.
Yeah, so exactly. So now, slightly more traditional conservatism of the first George Bush, that's also secular humanism, therefore liberalism.
And that's what the French Revolution was about. That's what the communist revolution in Russia, where they annihilated tens of thousands of churches, tens of thousands. They murdered Orthodox preachers and priests. Look at the enlightened totalitarianism from Napoleon and how many.
Right. So not only is the French Revolution liberalism, but the very dictatorial force under Napoleon that overthrew the French Revolution is also liberalism. Enlightened authoritarianism is now liberalism as well.
Churches he abolished and destroyed. This is the history of secular humanism, and it's all on the basis of maximizing liberty, maximizing equality, secularism, secular humanism. This is the actual bloody, brutal history of it.
So let's just have a recap on what Daniel, who supposedly, didn't he say, I'm sure he said that he studied philosophy at Harvard, right? At Harvard. And he is now put under liberalism, French Revolution, the American Revolution, communist Russia, which essentially includes Stalinist Russia as well, Middle Eastern dictatorships, the authoritarianism of Emperor Napoleon, that's also liberalism. I'm pretty sure in other videos he's basically said Nazism was also liberalism and sort of general fascism. And conservatism is liberalism, and neoconservatism is also liberalism. I mean, is he anything but a troll? I mean, seriously, he's basically defined everything that's not Islam as liberalism. And in fact, it goes further than that, because if you are a Quranist or a moderate or reformist Muslim, then he's also called that liberalism. And if you are non-Sunni, like Shia, or if you follow something like Sufism, you're also that's not real. So you're also liberalism. So it's anything that isn't his brand of Salafi Islam is now liberalism. I mean, who was running this philosophy course he was on, and like, how quick would it have been to pass that exam? Right. What's the right ideology for the world? Salafi Islam. What is liberalism? Everything fucking else in the world. That's his. I mean, this is this guy's position. I mean, no wonder nobody takes him seriously. I mean, it's ridiculous. Matt Dillahunty does a good sum up of this.
So, first of all, that's not the history of secular humanism. It is a history of some aspects of atheistic regimes. The problem with Soviet Russia and others were that essentially the state became the authoritarian church, not secular humanism, but a state-run body that was unquestionable the way a church would be. That's not secular humanism at all. Daniel has to invent a fiction about secular humanism trying to impose atheism.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good summary. And bearing in mind, he's basically saying synonymous secular humanism and liberalism. So this just seems to be, I don't know, it just feels like trolling, because anybody who's actually studied this cannot put all those philosophies under the same banner. It makes no sense. Right, my second part of this video is him walking back, or trying to walk back, his previous comments in another debate where he was promoting child marriage. And this is really funny.
You keep bringing up like this point about 4-year-olds. This is like a straw man that was put forth in a previous debate. Nowhere did I say that a 4-year-old should be, in a sexual relationship. It was a hypothetical that was presented to me, and I answered that on the basis of the.
You answered it on the basis of, if they pass through puberty, no matter what age, they should be allowed to be married and therefore have sex.
The hypothetical that was presented. Nowhere did I say that, 4-year-olds go through puberty and therefore they should be sexually active.
You absolutely did, because you said that they should be able to get married, and you said getting married was a way to allow them to, live out their desires, as or whatever euphemism you used. So you absolutely did say it, you liar.
So you're
So
saying
that's
a hypothetical 4-year-old who went through precocious puberty, it would be okay to have sex with them because that's what you said in the debate.
so we can go through
Right.
what I said in that debate from the beginning, but I thought you want to stick on the topic of the
Yeah, you want to dodge it, but Matt's absolutely right.
Well, I'm just saying you're now denying that you said what we all heard you say, which
No, I
got
said-
popularized over the internet because Mike specifically asked if a 4-year-old goes through precocious puberty, under your version of what Allah permits, is it permissible to marry and have sex with her? And your answer was yes.
Absolutely. And I think he might have even gone further down. I think he said that like the lowest age of this precocious puberty was something like a year old. I could be wrong on that, but I think he did. So it's even worse.
No, the point that I put to that person in that debate was that if we accept that someone is going through puberty, that means that the person is going to desire sexual relations. They're going to desire to be sexually active. And that is a biological fact. It just
You said that regardless of their age, though. You said if puberty is early onset down to 4, 3, 2, 1, then that would still be the case, and they would still be permitted to marry for that purpose of having sex.
doesn't happen at 4 years old. It happens at 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And that's why when we look at American culture and Western culture, the children at that age are highly sexually active.
Really? At 9 years old, he thinks in the West that children are active in that way. Where is he getting that from?
That's the reality in
No,
the
that's
world
not the reality. That's a fiction in your brain.
today. So you, or I won't say you because I don't know what your views are, but the person that I was debating has no problem in there being, this laissez-faire attitude towards children 9, 10, 11, or even younger being.
I mean, that should be slander. What was the guy? It was Inspiring Philosophy. I think it's that Christian guy he was debating on this point. I mean, he basically just accused him of being pro sexual activity for children that age. He was absolutely dead against it. I mean, I think he should be sued for making that claim, quite frankly.
Active with sexual dating, going to prom, going to these kinds of dances, boyfriend, girlfriend, fornication.
How is going to a dance the same as having sex? I mean, what the hell is he on about?
That is all allowed. So you don't have a problem, or people who are scoffing and laughing, they don't have a problem with 9-year-olds having sex. They just have a problem with the idea of a 9-year-old getting married.
Absolutely not true. That's absolute garbage. They very much do have a problem. And the reason that they said they have a problem with marriage is because you said that that's what marriage is for, to allow that second thing to happen. So yeah, it's really disgusting. He tries to walk it back, but then pretty much commits himself to the same position, but he's just trying to mess around with the language of it. I think regardless of what position you hold, what religious beliefs or lack of religious belief you have, I think Matt Dillahunty just sums up how we all really feel towards Daniel Haqiqatjou.
And I don't care if you lie about my views. Don't fuck kids.
Yes, absolutely. So the third part is just a personal thing for me, but Daniel at one point lets his inner thuggery and childhood playgrounds kind of crap come out in the debate, and it was just really funny to see the reaction of Matt, because while Matt is a very smart guy, he's very good at debate and everything, his background isn't in academia, it's in the military. So when Daniel did this was pretty funny.
Whenever you don't have an answer, you have to make a
I
dumb
have an
joke,
answer.
a
If you
boomer
shut
joke.
the fuck up, I'd tell you.
Oh, big man, come and say that right here.
Trying to say it right where?
All right.
Here.
All right. Yes.
Chill out. I don't do anything. I'm not violent.
Go ahead.
See, that was great. And I mean, Matt obviously wasn't going to do anything physical there, but I just think it's brilliant because this inner thuggery that they all have, they think they can just throw it out there in the middle of the debate, and it shows what they're like. And as I say, most people are not going to react, but I have to say, well done, Matt, because it's just like, yeah, I'm not afraid of you. I'm just going to stand up to you. You're going to act that way. And yeah, you see that, for all his bravado from Daniel there, he remained firmly in his seat and then started saying, chill, bro, go back and sit down. So yeah, I just wanted to do this quick video for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll have another one up in a couple of days.